One thing that, for some of you who know me and have worked with me in the past on a variety of issues from time to time, would know that I am a straight shooter. You've probably seen get myself in trouble for being such a straight shooter in the press from time to time, certainly even within the party, because I believe fundamentally and very importantly in what the party that I joined at 17 years old stood for then should stand for today. Those principles, those values, those ideals have not changed from my estimation. When I became chairman of the Republican Party a year ago, January 30th, I made it very clear, rather emphatically, that this would be the party, and is the conservative party of the United States, and that we would be engaged in a great battle over big ideas and small ideas, of great opportunities and so not great opportunities. But the battle would have to be joined, and over the course of the past year, I've had an enormous opportunity and pleasure to travel around the country to many of your states, in Florida and Pennsylvania and out west and all across, and had a chance to talk with folks who didn't have a particular moniker over their head at the time. I mean, this was, you know, a homemaker who decided to leave her house in the middle of the day to go to a meeting in the community about what this government was about to do to them on health care. This was meeting with a grandma or a granddad who had long since put up the straps from the days of politics, who were getting involved again. And to hearing their stories and to understanding and appreciating their frustration and their anger was very, very important in my new role and responsibility as the national chairman. What I also recognized that many of these folks were former Republicans, disgruntled conservatives, ticked off independents, frustrated, you know, Reagan Democrats, and, you know, somewhat clueless, trying to get a clue, you know, blue dogs who've been sold a bill of goods by Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and others who are trying now to figure out what this all meant. And so when you look at the mix of things over the past year, the takeaway initially for me was, wow, the American people have awakened. And what's most important is that Washington has awakened the ultimate sleeping giant. An electorate that had, for most parts, grown somewhat comfortable and a little bit disengaged over the years, trusting that government would solve the problem, or at least stay out of the way long enough for people to do that. Well, all of that changed, certainly in the last year of the Bush administration, and certainly at the beginning of this administration, where there was a renewed activism by the federal government, and even state governments, as many of you have probably encountered as well. And so here we are now, a year later, after tea parties and town halls and 9/12 events and all types of activities that have generated the grassroots level, and the press is scratching their head trying to figure out and trying to peg each one of you and myself and what our motives are and what our agenda is. Well, I have no agenda, folks. I'm not here to co-opt. You certainly didn't ask for this meeting, or we didn't want to sit down and talk and say, oh, and now we're going to sign everybody up. Here are the GOP cards. Come back if you left, or join us if you've never been here. That's a crock. It ain't happened. That's not what this is about. This is about concerned citizens trying to find a variety of ways to express their activism and to get the folks across the street here to pay attention to what is going on in America. That the frustration, the anger, and the anxiety comes from the fact that when I go to a meeting with my congressman, she's too busy on her cell phone to listen to my story and to hear my frustration.